Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, alhamdulillah, man, I've been doing a lot of little reflecting on life and, conversations I've been having, things that I've been looking at, right? And I start to, analyze things and put things in a perspective. And then what I do, this is something that I like to do. And I usually make dua for Allah assistance, and Allah really aided me this time. So like when I be reflecting on things in life and analyzing certain situations and how to move forward, right, and continue on with my day and my life, as I analyze these things, I like to go try to find something in the Quran that puts these situations in perspective for me, or to go look at, to find some type of hadith to match up with it, and that way I can be dealing with things from an Islamic point of view in accordance with the Quran and the Sunnah. Or I go find something from some people from the Salaf, some statements that they made, or all the way down to some modern day scholars. But I like to find something in the Quran, and I made dua to Allah, like Allah, and I always say please when I'm making my duas to Allah. So I'm like, Allah, please, help me, point me to something in the Quran to kind of put this into perspective. And alhamdulillah, and when I opened my Quran up, wallahi, took me straight to it. Okay? Like literally. Like literally right to the surah, right to what it needed to be. Wallahi. So it was a couple of, I heard during the hours of Tahajjud, and I was listening to some little lectures and things on YouTube, and then I seen a little video where it was saying, did the Sahaba celebrate Prophet Muhammad's birthday? And I can see who the speaker is. Little Sufi guy. He got a little well-known name with them, and they, and the Asheris, and he like a Sufi Maliki Asheri Matrididi type guy, right? And he like a scholar for them. Okay, so I just clicked it. I wanted to hear what he said. You know what I'm saying? Because of course I know they didn't, and I know like some of these titles they clickbaitish because some people chasing the YouTube check. So when I listened to it, of course it was some foolishness, but to justify it, this man said using an alarm clock to wake up for Fajr is bid'ah. Using an alarm clock to wake up for Fajr is bid'ah. But in the context of the type of bid'ah that can't be done. So it's like we celebrate the birthday of the Rasul because of all this love for him, and you could find it in the 7th century, and it showed, and it did put some context to when I was saying I looked at the video of them in Iraq and everybody was lighting all these candles, and he was saying you could see in the 7th century in certain areas, and how it was saying they all went to the marketplace, basically out in the streets, and everybody was lighting candles. You know, he didn't say where it was, but the thing that tripped me out about his statements, he would say that there's ijma on this. Right? And he said that the majority of the scholars say that you can celebrate the Rasul birthday. Now we know this isn't true, but like I say, sometimes people use these statements because, one, that's how you sell your point. The scholars, ijma, consensus, such and such said this about this one, and this is how you sell your point of view. There's not no ijma on the scholars that you can celebrate no Rasul birthday. But see, some of the trickery of it is their little small group. There might be a consensus with their little small group. And he also said something else about how that there's ijma on there's ijma of the consensus. There's consensus amongst all of the major scholars and the major scholars and less than them, that the tomb where the Rasul is buried at in Medina is more of a sacred site and holier than the Kaaba in Mecca. Okay? And like I said, he a scholar for them. And they saying that there's consensus on this. Well, we know that's not true. We know that's not true. The Kaaba and, you know, the sacred, like, come on, man. Not the masjid in Medina, the Prophet masjid. You know, because he was saying that Imam Malik, I don't know, I never read this in Imam Malik works. I'm not as versed in, you know, I did a little comparative fiqh aspects, like, you know, and then your comparative fiqh, you dealing with things like, you know, your ibadah, you know, your salat, your wudus, and, you know, going through those type of things. So I haven't really looked into like a lot of his works, but he said that Imam Malik felt like the Prophet masjid was more holier than the Kaaba in Mecca. So then he went from that to say everybody don't agree, but the majority of the major scholars and scholars less than them feel that the tomb inside of the masjid in Medina is more sacred and holier than the Kaaba in Mecca. Although Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, no matter where you are on this earth, even if you're in an airplane, technically in the sky, so technically your feet isn't planted on earth, but even if you in the sky, even if you in an air balloon and Salat come in, do your best, the best of your ability to turn towards the sacred mosque, the Kaaba, in Salah. You know what I'm saying? But you know, they feel like, because, you know, they grave worship and a lot of stuff, man. But alhamdulillah, man. So, like, just listening to these statements, man, and just seeing how dangerous it is. And I'm going to be honest, what go through my head is, I'm going to get to this tafsir, this ayahs, man, because it's beautiful. But what go through my mind, man, is like, when they talk about, when you hear like political people and Muslims and they talk about groups like ISIS and these other groups that's attacking other Muslim regions, which some people don't know, like sometimes they may be the region that they're attacking, it might be a Shiite region. It might be a war between the Sunnis and the Shiites. But they're attacking other Muslims, right? And, they would say things like, if they was really here to better Islam, why aren't they attacking the enemies of Islam? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are they always attacking other Muslims? So, what put it in my mindset was, when you have these people with a name like this, right? And I'm gonna say the person name for in context of this. The person who was saying these things was Hamza Yusuf. Okay, so basically, I'm mixing two videos because some people may have watched one video where he was saying the stuff about the alarm clock and the Prophet birthday, and it was just a little short video. But as I was moving around, like I say, this was during the hours of Tahajjud. So as I'm moving around, it's playing. So because it was his video, another video just automatically came on. And I had it playing through my TV, which was in a back room. So I could still hear it out here where I am. And I didn't feel like getting up and going and changing. So as it was playing, this is when he started talking about the tomb and all this other stuff, right? So in my head though, so Hamza Yusuf, this man have a lot of followers, okay? Has a whole institute. So in my head, I was like, the particular group of Salafis, you know what I'm saying? Because I have an inside joke for myself that's been around for years, like even when I used to be running around with that particular community on that side. And like when somebody, when some people be talking like that, I used to have a little joke, like somebody be around, I'd be like, hey Jerome, go call the Salafis. Because they finna come, you imbecile, you talking like this and this and that. But what I noticed was, where are they when people with a big name is promoting real bid'ah? But it seemed like they only attack other Salafis that may be competition to the Salafis that they trying to have a stronghold over. And then they'll say, because like I say, when I used to be around, or, in that little fold with Muslims in that fold, it would be like, oh, well, he has a name, so you have to hurry up and speak out against this person. But it wasn't never really nothing that they did or said. So you got to speak out against him because he has a name. So we'll just say a Tahir Wyatt or a Shadeed Muhammad. This stuff that Hamza Yusuf and them say, and this stuff was recent. Like this was in a couple of days, these things that he was saying. Recent videos. Where are they when it's time to attack the real innovators? But when it's time to attack other Salafis that may be deemed competition to them, they trying to stomp their whole name out, even if they had to slander and make up something. So because I was in my head, I was sitting, it went through my head like, man, somebody call the Salafis. Hey man, it's time to round up the Salafis. A little inside joke to me, but where are they when these people is quoting the real bid'ah? Where's the campaign against Hamza Yusuf? Where's the 20-year campaign against him, like the 20-year campaign against Shadeed Muhammad, another Salafi? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, like I said, and me thinking about those things, man, and just other Muslims, that I may know and different things. And, I was listening to an imam and he was saying how, just to cap that off, there got to be some type of conspiracy there, man. There has to be some type of covert agent type mission. Because like how they say politically, why these people only attacking Muslims, but they not attacking the countries that's attacking the Muslims? Like I'll say this, because I'm not trying to promote nothing, but these ISIS groups and all these other groups who are attacking these other Muslim countries, where they at for the people in Gaza? Where they mounting up for the people in Sudan? You know what I'm saying? And then some of these areas, some of these people is under persecution because of the behavior of ISIS and some of these other groups. So now because they did things, now you got countries attacking the weak who can't fight back. Women, children, and feeble men. Because of things that ISIS and this and that and things that they've done. But it got to be some type of conspiracy, because look at all the destruction that it brought about. So you look at it and it's like, where y'all at with all, where's the campaign against these people? But there's always a campaign against other Salafis. Ain't that strange? That ain't promoting no real bid'ah, but this stuff is real bid'ah. So anyway, so I was hearing another imam saying like, like masjid etiquette, and like how the newer these Muslims, man, like they don't really have a religious background, because they coming from the street, like they didn't grow up in a church, or they didn't grow up in a NOI temple or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Some type of religious, even if it ain't a religion that came from Allah Azza wa Jal, some type of structure. So he was like, man, you got Muslims, man. It was another thing. It just made me laugh, man. Like, dang. Muslims coming in the masjid smelling like marijuana. Okay, that's not a new one. But he was like, you got Muslims coming in smelling like marijuana. But then he said, and then they're eating chips and a burger and fries right there in the Musalla area while the Kut bar is going on. And I was just like, sitting there eating chips and a burger and fries, man, while the Kut bar is going on? With no regard, no etiquette. And see, now in this day and time, you have Muslims, if you address that from the minbar, you have other Muslims like, oh man, don't worry about their behavior. Just let them do what they do. Just leave them alone. You know what I'm saying? It be funny, man. It be funny. And like for me, sometimes if people see that you may have a little education, you have to deal with both spectrums. We need you to come out here and talk to the brothers. We need you to educate them. You the one that can get them on the right path. But then on the flip side, oh man, leave them alone. Just let them be. Don't care nothing about their behavior. Don't get mad at them because they're disrespecting Islam. Just let them be. But at the same time, you or these people, come teach us. Come save us. Oh, don't worry about our smoking and drinking and bad behavior. Just let us be. It's wild. So I'm me thinking about these things, and I was thinking about a quote from Snoop Dogg, and this is where the ayahs come in. And certain things, from us growing up in the hood. Snoop Dogg was saying, sometimes in life, you and your homeboys or you and your circle, y'all may start off like this. Whether y'all children or whatever. Wherever y'all met in elementary school, y'all start off y'all like this. And then in the life that y'all want to live. So like sometimes as Muslims, y'all might be Muslims and everybody want to grow and get educated. But then one of y'all start to do this. and then the other one just stays there stagnant. So in life, you go up like this, but these is your homeboys. So you want them up here with you. But the problem is to get them up there with you, because keep in mind, they didn't take the steps to get there with you. But because you want them there, what do you have to do? You have to come back down here to try to get them up there. And generally, sometimes what happens is when you come back down to here, you can get stuck. They're going to keep you there on that level because now you right back equal with them. Not like a arrogant form of an equal. You not back up here no more because they wanted to be up there. It's a part of them that don't want to see you up there. You know what I'm saying? And it's a part of them for the people who see that you're up there, right? And they like you and they admire you and they turn to you. But these people who still there, because they wanted to be up here but didn't take the steps, they want the people to look at them as if they're up there. So sometimes you have to be careful because sometimes you have friends and family members in any walk of life, not necessarily just in Islam. Because even with Snoop Dogg making this comparison, he's not talking about religiously. You look at some of the people who he came up with, they was all in the music business. Might have been better than him at one point in time. But he made it up here, and they didn't. But like he said, when he come down to try to bring them up there, he end up in some turmoil. And you look at some people, they come back down trying to get the people up here, and then they get killed trying to save these people. You understand? And we talking about just on like not just famous people in our hoods. You may have a person, a hood superstar who made it up out of the hood, a basketball star or something, and then they come back to try to elevate their friends and they get killed or they get hurt or something. So just to get to my point, sometimes, man, you have to weigh out your perspective and try to figure out different ways. And then sometimes you might meet other people who's going to actually take the steps to get up there. So now you up here with some people, you help some other people get to this level up here. But you may not grow up with them. You may have just met them. They may have been from another city, and now your people is like, oh, well, he helping them, but he never helped us. He looking down on us. Because they automatically feel like it's a looking down on them because you up here. You're not looking down on them. You just not steady trying to keep coming down here, getting stuck, and now you got to keep going up and down. But no matter what go on, they still stay there because that's where they want to be and that's where they're comfortable. That's why they never took the necessary steps to get there, because they just talking. You understand? So you're going to feel bad for them, and then they're going to get mad. Oh, you helping him? Oh, he hanging with them. Oh, these people at his house, but he never invite us. Because see, these people, although they at my house, we on this level in conversation and actions and deeds. To come down here, we got to talk about ignorance, dumb stuff. I got to be in an ignorant environment, not looking down, but I got to be in the environment that we're trying to grow out of. So sometimes people will lift their hand up for you to help them out of the situation. Just hold their hand up enough to grab your hand and pull you back down into it, as opposed to you pulling them out. And you have to be careful, and you're going to feel bad. But your Jannah and your life is for you. What you got going on with your family and all that type of stuff is for you. So me thinking about all this stuff and feeling for the Muslims, like, and feeling for like certain imams, and like I said, when you have conversations with imams and people who Islamically their job is to help other people and Muslims, whether it's with mental health issues, whether they counselors, whether they the ones who go to the prisons and the jails and try to uplift the Muslims and stuff, but they educated people. They're Islamically educated, secularly educated, right? When you have conversations with these people, man, some people feel defeated. We can't fix these people, man. Like, it's just getting worse and worse, and then you start to feel sorry for them, right? But the more you try to help and the better that you try to get, they're going to dislike you because they're not going to see it as help. They're going to see it as you looking down on me. You think you better than me. You see what I'm saying? But they keep saying, I want to be up there where you at. Well, this is what I did to get there. You got to look at your life, and bad habits that you have, you got to knock them off. Like, one thing, you could look at your life, like some people, man, I look at a lot of people, man, especially when they have a lot of friends, they always in some turmoil that's none of their business. They always in some of their friends' beef. Like, even with growing up, man, in a hood and with the gang environment and moving around, a lot of the people that I seen get killed or killed somebody, it was always a situation that didn't have nothing to do with them. 90% of the time, it was a situation that had nothing to do with them. Somebody came and got this one. He went and got his gun. Now he's finna handle your business, and then he get killed in the process. This is your situation. He step up. He want to be the big man, and now he killed somebody, and now he in prison for some stuff that wasn't none of his business. But they let people pull them into things, man, that's wasn't beneficial for them. So when you look at things, man, like I look at these situations, man, and I see some people, man, every day, out of 7 days of a week, they get into an argument or some type of confrontation 5 to 7 days every single week. There isn't 1 week that go by that they don't have some form of confrontation. Not one day. Whether it be even to the point where, even if it end up on social media, Instagram, Facebook, even if they had to argue with themselves and be confrontational with themselves on Facebook and social media. And at work they arguing. In a house they arguing. They arguing with their husband and their wife. They arguing with their kids. They arguing with their brothers and sisters. They arguing with their mothers and fathers. They arguing with their aunties. They arguing with their Muslim friends. They arguing with their non-Muslim friends. Whether it be over every day of the week. Some people need to look at that, and that's a bad habit. That's something that you need to change and turn it into a good habit. Instead of arguing with people, I'm going to compliment everybody I see today. I'm going to tell them something good. Hey, you look nice. This is nice. I'm proud of you. Start to turn those negative things into a good thing, and then it's going to grow, because Allah Azza wa Jal, man, don't like argumentative people like that. And you see a lot of Muslims, man, and then people accept Islam and they running around as Muslims, but every day of the week they arguing with somebody. These is bad habits that you need to change. So if you talking to them and you are advising them like that, they feel like it's an attack. Or you think you better than everybody. Or you think your Islam is just so great. Oh, you ain't perfect. But you coming to me for help. You saying what I need to do for the community. So when you feel bad for them, right, and you going through these things, and you see this, man, sometimes you may be overwhelmed with grief, man, and have like a form of survivor's remorse. Now let me give y'all these tafsirs, man, this Quran ayat, and Allah just put it in perspective for me. Because I made dua, give me something in the Quran, hadith, something to resonate with me so that I can move forward with this decision. And I'm telling y'all, wallahi, went straight to it. Took me straight to it. So, in Surah 26, where, and the name of the surah is Ashura, right? So, of course, so it starts off, right, Tasin Mim. These are the verses of the clear book, right? In this book, there's verses that is extremely clear. Okay? They're understandable. It's clear. It's not cloudy. It's not distorted. The verses in this book are clear. Right? Are you, O prophet, going to destroy yourself with grief because they don't believe? These people, your family members, your friends, who y'all was like this, and then prophethood came to you, and you went like this, they feel some type of way. He went from being known as one of the most truthfulest people in their community. And you can look, when you look at hadiths and things like where it says a testament to this, when he went to them and said, if I was to tell y'all that it was a army of people on the other side of this mountain or on the other side of this valley or in this other area on their way to attack y'all, would y'all believe me? Yeah, everybody, yes, we will believe you. You truthful. Well, believe me when I tell y'all, man, that I'm the prophet and messenger. Nah, because that makes you above us. You after our riches. You after our treasures. Why do I say that? Because that's also a testament where they felt like, okay, you doing this, you turning the people against us so you can start taking our riches and our treasures. So they tried to buy them off. Look, we'll give you all the money. We'll give you everything you want if you just stop this call. Because you have to understand, some of the main catalysts of the people who was trying to kill him and wanted him off this earth was his own uncles, his father's brothers. And because they wouldn't believe and because they wouldn't accept Islam, not necessarily him as a prophet, he ain't tripping off of that. But he has an understanding of Islam that he wants them to accept. And then the ones who, hypocrites, who accept Islam but they playing with the deen, and them being hypocrites has been exposed. They've been exposed to him. He know who the hypocrites are. And he know what Islam come with, and he know that Islam is the answer, and he want them to be fixed. I want y'all up here with me. This is my job to warn y'all. And they felt some type of way, man, and the Rasul was falling into sorrow and feeling some type of way. And sometimes when you, one of the Muslims who came from a life of gang banging or being a gang member, you may not necessarily gang. Myself in perspective, I come from what they come from. A lot of what they've done, I've did. So I understand the environment. It ain't like I'm some suburb person. It ain't like I'm somebody who never lived it and never walked through it. I know what you're going through. I know what you're dealing with. If I can come up out of it, you can too. And then some people who feel like they may have rose above certain levels of it, but they keep coming back down, and then they stuck in it, and then they end up in all the fitna and the turmoil, feeling like I'm going to be their savior because they feeling some type of way, survivor's remorse. And then they end up losing a deen, or they end up with feeling like they on a deen, but they really off of it and don't know it. So Allah Azza wa Jal, look what Allah Azza wa Jal even giving the Rasul some comfort and say, if I willed, right? If I can send down the Qadr and the Qadr to the point where these people, I could send down to them a sign from heaven that would hang their heads in humility, so that they would just walk around like this with their necks bent. You know what I'm saying? In humility. Can't even hold their head up. I could send them a sign to the point that would humiliate them so bad, to the point they wouldn't even be able to hold their head up. And sometimes mentally, some people walking around with their head down, man. They can't hold their head up. And that's why when certain people come around, they feel some type of way, because when certain people come around, man, they have to bow their head down because they humiliated. Because they know I should be where you at. I feel bad about myself because I'm still stuck in this foolishness when you told me years ago. So Allah's giving them the jewels, and then He also tells them no fresh, no new revelations, reminders, dhikr, none of it comes to them. Let me just read it. No fresh, new revelations, reminders come to them from the Most Gracious, but they turn away from it. Every sign, everything that Allah sends to them, through a prophet, through the Quran itself, through another Muslim, through an imam, anything that Allah Azza wa Jal sends to them in guidance, in wahi, they turn away from it. They reject it. I'm good. I'm staying where they at. So what you have to understand is, basically this is a form of letting you know they're choosing disobedience. They choosing to be the way that they are. You have to respect that, man. And that's why I'm saying, when you up here and then you have to come down here because they talking out of their mouth that they want the same thing, that they want to be where you at, but they won't take the steps because it's easier for them to pretend that they already there, or tell themselves that they already there, and it's perfectly fine as long as you not around, because when you not around, they can live this lie. But when you step in the room, that truth makes them mentally feel like this, because you not looking down on them, they start to look down on themselves, because now they forced to look at their reality, as opposed to continue to look at the lie that they know that they're living. But it doesn't matter to them that they know that they live in a lie. What matters to them is the people that they feel like they have fooled. But they may not have these people fooled. Them people may not pay no attention to you. It's all based on what you telling yourself, to where you done put yourself in a position that you really out of touch with reality. And when it comes to the deen of Islam and the reality of Quran Sunnah, And what Allah sent down, when you not in touch with that, then you not in touch with reality. Because the real reality is what is with this deen. You understand? So, just looking at it, and you know, like I say, man, seeing the pain in the imam face, especially when it's an imam that's been unnecessarily attacked because his light shined so bright, other people who really didn't have a light feel like their light was dimmed because of him. So we want to dim his light. So sometimes if you standing there giving a khutbah and some people, a group of Muslims come in smelling like weed and they eating potato chips and burgers and fries, sometimes in their mind it's like they doing this because it's me. Because people have lied on me and slandered me and killed my honor. So some people don't respect me as an imam as they should. They intentionally came in here to eat this stuff during the khutbah, and they know. And see, sometimes with social media, and sometimes when people recording, live streaming their Jumu'ah service for other people to benefit, they have to keep their composure and not jap out. That's why, like, sometimes you could see me jap out when it comes in terms to speaking to the people in this community. Now, and I know that they watch this, or some of them be right there in the Zoom, and then other people who not from here or not around here be like, man, you know, the brother going through a thing. No, I'm really talking to some real. This is a real live conversation that y'all just don't see or can't fully understand because y'all out of the loop. But I'm not like no prominent person, and I'm not, so you can see me jap out. I'm not embarrassing the masjid or this and that. So sometimes people can't jap out the way they want to because they live streaming, they cut bars, and they know people even overseas is watching them while they live. And they try, and it's not because they want to be looked at a certain way. They really want people to benefit from their cut bars. So they don't want to jap out because some high people sitting up eating burgers and fries and potato chips, and then probably even all out of context doing all this. You know what I'm saying? Just going above and beyond. But in reality, they might just be ignorant. They ignorant anyway for doing it, even if it's on the aspect that they just don't know any better. They don't have any tact. But like I say, sometimes when you're an attacked person, you can view it as, you know, people done destroyed my honor, man. So I had to deal with a lot of disrespect because of it. And at the same time, that could have been the issue. But you will see them kind of grieve because they want to fix these people. They don't really believe the way that they should. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes when, like I say, when it's with a Muslim ummah, you may have some friends and you may be trying to elevate yourself, even if it's not in knowledge, but just in life. You want to live more Islamic. You want to be better than you was yesterday. It's certain things you got going on that you want to stop, but your friends don't want to. And we know how we is, man. And then the jokes and the disrespect's going to come in. They're going to down you to bring you back down. Are you all of that now because you read a book? Are you too good to be? You going to look down on me? You judging me because I don't want to stop drinking? And then you have to deal with conflicted individuals. Come save us, but don't be mad and just let us be. Come save you and just let you be. I was already letting y'all be and not bothering y'all and staying out of the loop, away from y'all Y'all asked me to come out here. Y'all asked me to come do this bar. Y'all asked me to come teach this class. Y'all asked me to come talk to these youngins and get all this cleaned up. But then at the same time, just let them be. Don't bother them. That's between them and Allah. Don't call me no more. Don't call me no more. Because now, once again, I done came down here and now I'm involved in some fitna that might last for a year or two. Don't call me no more. You know what I'm saying? And due to certain, sometimes when you have an open heart, you might want to block people. You might just want to cut people off, but then at the same time, it might be some type of emergency and they might really need you. You know what I'm saying? But you have to see, man, this is something that the Rasul also had to deal with. And, not really getting all the way into the tafsirs, but just looking at the Quran ayats, man. Let me read y'all the next one. Where it says, thus, they denied the wahi, but soon they will learn the consequences of their ridicule. Then it goes into the signs from Allah. Do they not see the earth and how much we have caused the earth to grow, and we grow all type of different fruits and vegetables and plants and trees to give off oxygen and things that we need to be able to breathe and exchange with plants and clean the air. You know what I'm saying? To keep the air clean and all this different stuff. Do they not see all this? The wind, the clouds to bring forth rain. Do they not see what Allah is doing for them? Yet they denying aspects of this thing. Every clear sign, everything that comes to them of some benefit, they turn away from it and choose harm. Even if they've accepted Islam. You gonna sit up and grieve yourself to death over their bad choices? Nah, man, you got to move forward and do what you got to do, man. You know what I'm saying? And then, like it says, verily, and that is a sign. Yet most of them will not believe. Most of them, they not going to believe even if they accept Islam. Because they want to believe, they want to put Islam into their box where they feel comfortable. I still want to be the exact same type of person, but instead of saying Jesus is God, I want to leave that aspect and be a Muslim Christian. I want to keep the rest of Christianity. I just want to get rid of the Jesus is God part. I still want to have a shirt with Bible verses on it. I got Job 25:15 on it. Like it's the word of Allah, and knowing Peter is the person who wrote that. I got a shirt, a big don't you see this Bible verse on my shirt? Allah, how do you know Allah wrote that? Just like how I showed with Romans and showed it, you might have a verse of Romans on there. You see Allah says this in Romans. Allah didn't say that. Paul wrote that. Peter wrote that. John wrote that. I just want to get rid of the Jesus is God part and keep all the rest of Christianity and call myself Muslim. You're Zindiq, baby. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool. You're gonna feel something for him. Just like with the Rasul, you're gonna feel something, but don't let that grief destroy you. Don't get to the point where you get caught up in the mix to the point where you can't grow. You understand? Don't get to the point where you so caught up in the mix where you can't grow. Because some people, growth for them is stopping you from growing. Some people, goals and missions in life is to stop other people from getting to where they're trying to go to. Oh, y'all want to have this program? Y'all want to teach the Muslim kids? Y'all think y'all gonna outshine me? Nope, I'll mess it up. Oh, y'all think y'all gonna do this? You think you're gonna make it to the end? And I'm gonna close on this last little story, right? But y'all should read that. Y'all should read that surah, man. And it, like I said, it brought things back to a perspective for me. And it was a kid in this city, man. He was a younger guy, man. He ran around with my cousins, man. His name was Tyrese, right? He used to shoot hoop. He wasn't the best one in the hood. You know what I'm saying? But he was a team player, and he could shoot threes, right? So he made it to college. But because he didn't take education serious, when he got to college, he needed some education. So, he got redshirted. And that humbled him, but he kept working on his game. He could still practice with the team. He could still go to the games. He just can't play. So while he wasn't on there, and then the coach and them is working with him, they're elevating him. So now when he can play, he's starting to become a superstar on the college circuit. But then in the summertime, he would come back here. And now he's starting to elevate, and now NBA scouts is looking at him, right? Since we're in Illinois, the coach for the Chicago Bulls and them and the scouts, they pulled him in to the Chicago Bulls to have a workout, right? And one of the assistant coaches for the Bulls left Chicago and started working with the Phoenix Suns, I think it was. So he was going to pull him in to the Phoenix Suns. He just, you know what I'm saying? Some type of talk, we'll get you a workout with the Phoenix Suns. Right? He took a liking to him. And he would come here, and next thing you know, he come here, he finna go see some girl or something like this and that. So he asked to use one of the guys' cars. He a college student. They get this man a car with dope and stuff all in it. And then lo and behold, next thing you know, he gets pulled over out of the blue. Coming down. Man, when I get to the NBA, or if I go overseas, once I start getting this money, we're going to do this. We're going to start businesses. We're going to start rap labels. We're going to be like No Limit and all this stuff, right? And, my little cousin then was in this little clique. So that's how I know a lot of little stuff. My little cousin and my little brother. My little cousin and my little brother, they was, they ran together. And this was a person who was part of their clique. And then his little brother was a street cat. His little brother didn't play no games. His little brother thumped something. So, now he gets caught with the car with all these drugs and stuff in it. But because he had a future, somebody else took the case. I mean, it wasn't his drugs. You know what I'm saying? But the other person in the car, it wasn't their drugs either. But they went ahead and ate the case. But because it was all in the newspaper and slandered his name, the NBA didn't want to touch him. Because then he came back again and was involved in like a shooting or something. His father was a big drug dealer, right? His father stayed like a block away from my parents. And some people basically came in and killed this father. It was just, and it was all in the news. So, the NBA didn't want to touch him. So they recruited him to go overseas. Right? Because he was more than just your average baller, he didn't have your standard basic overseas contract. I think his contract was like $150 a year. And you don't play a whole year, you just play seasonal. Right before he get ready to go, they got him in the gambling houses, out here hustling. And they had a poker game and, some card games like 3 days. So he sit up there in 3 days and he wins $30,000, right? This dude turned around and listening to them and stuck in that environment and said, I'm going to become a professional gambler. A professional gambler running around at these gambling houses. So he didn't even get on a plane to go overseas. Violated his contract. Where y'all think he at today? Where y'all think he at today? Trying to make moves with his brother. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm hearing stories about, because everybody know that he done won this money and he all up in these gambling houses. What y'all think happened? Let us get that. Then came and caught him all up in the gambling house. Take his little bread. I don't know what they took from him, but the point is, he could have possibly been in the NBA. And he could have possibly ended up helping these people. And then these people, my cousin and all them people who were surrounding them, all of them all running around, still in the streets, 65 years, 25 years, slammed. Some of them snitching and setting up people, and some dead. And he had that survivor's remorse, man, and he let that ruin him, man. Ruin his whole future. You know what I'm saying? And because he was finna go overseas, and he was in college, but, he got red-shirted and some other stuff, so he was a little bit older. So he neglected the college. I'm going overseas. So he also didn't get the college education where he could have got some jobs in his field with whatever the education he was taking. Up here, let him pull you back down here, and now you stuck there, and now what everybody say about him? Man, you a goofy. You stupid, man. But these the same people you did it for. Y'all got to use this, man. And for us Muslims, man, and you dealing with these Muslims who don't want to grow, you can't fix them, man. And you see that they rejecting everything and they still want to go this and that, you're going to have to step back and don't destroy yourself or don't get caught up on this level with them because you grieving them and you think you're going to elevate them. Just like I said, the analogy, don't jump into a pool of a lake, an ocean of water, and then you're the one drowning while the people watching you drown and you talking about you trying to save them. You got to use this, man. And like I say, I always struggle and go back and forth with it because I always get these calls. And not from just one more than, it be from more than one person. And it's always a conflicting message. Come save us. Let us be. You the only one. You the one with this. You got the truth. You this and that. But don't tell the truth to them. We want you to come give us the hock, but we don't want you giving us the hock. It's conflicted, man. And I'm telling you, man, these are confused people. They don't think they are. Because this is a confusing and conflicting message where they're going from one extreme to the other. And then they may be chasing something. They may be chasing a check. They may be chasing popularity into the community. And then they'll pull you right into that, man, if you're not careful. And don't let that grief, don't let that you feeling sorry for them destroy you. Because if the Rasul was falling into it, because he was human, Allah had to check him. Don't do that. So what we should take from that man, from that sunnah, don't destroy yourself with grief, man. Don't fall into it with him, man. Don't do it, man. Don't do it, B. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.